The dictionary defines shanghaied as being taken by force or by trickery. Many of those who were victims met their fate in tunnels beneath Portland's Old Town area. It was said they were shanghaied because they were forced to sail on ships, most of which were headed for China. Jeff Thomas takes us on the Portland Underground Tour during In Your Prime.
Hello and welcome to another edition of In Your Prime. I'm Jeff Thomas, and today we've decided to hook up with a group of people who are taking a tour of the Shanghai tunnels in downtown Portland. Underneath the restaurant, Hobos. Michael P. Jones is somewhere. We've been waiting for him for a couple minutes. Wonder where he is. Oh my goodness!
Well, welcome to the Portland Underground. Why don't you follow me?
Isn't it closed? Be careful, you guys. It's kind of a narrow opening as you go through here.
Shanghai and Portland was very different than other cities. In other cities, the captain would put in his order for a crew, maybe 2 to 5 men. He'd go to the Shanghaier, and Shanghai would go out in the street with a blackjack, maybe knock some people on the head, maybe slip knockout drops into people's drinks in a saloon. And when the ship left, he didn't fulfill his order. But here in Portland, it was very different. In Portland, there was an old saying that there was always an able-bodied crew waiting for a needy captain. These Shanghaiers would go out in advance into the places of vice, collect their victims, they would bring them down at the underground, lock them up in holding cells. They were always here, ready and able to go. Follow me. People would walk into a saloon on the buddy system. One would park himself by the front door and he would nurse one beer all night long. His job was to take care of his friend who wasn't worried about a thing. But the story was always the same. The guy at the front door never left his post, but his friend vanished. It was like the floor swallowed him up, and it did, so to speak. If you were standing at the wrong place at the right time, they'd pull that lever and... This was called the deadfall. They called it a deadfall not because people died when they fell through the floor, but for the next 3 to 6 years, they might as well consider themselves dead because they had no control on their life. Deadfalls would take out 1 to 3 men at a time, sometimes as many as 5. Most of the saloons in this area had at least 3, but places like Erickson's Saloon was said to have as many as 12. The most common story we are getting from the families of those who were shanghaied was about a relative walking into such and such saloon and never coming out through the front door. He vanished forever. If you follow me into the middle tunnel, you know, when we started several years ago, we were crawling. Now we're walking through. This will take us to another section of the underground that most people never get to see. In fact, most of the underground people don't see anymore.
I have to say, Michael, for me, I can't even imagine being stuck in a holding pen down underground like this.
Well, maybe I can help you get more of a realistic feel to this whole thing. Follow me. I think one of the things that haunts me the most are the holding cells. And Jeff, if you were put in a holding cell like this one here, it was designed in such a way that although you were getting ventilation from the bars on the windows and the bars on the doors, it was set up in such a way you couldn't get your fingers easily through the bars here, because the Shanghaiers realized how powerful these men were that they were shanghaiing. They worked on the ships pulling ropes, they worked in the woods, and if they could get their fingers through these bars, and if they could get a hold of them, they'd never turn loose. So they designed it so they couldn't easily get their fingers through these.
I see what you mean. It's very difficult to grab a hold of the bar. It almost cuts you.
Everything about the underground was done deliberately for the Shanghai trade.
It's said that Shanghaiers stole this cigar store Indian from a storefront to fill a captain's orders for men. It was thrown overboard upon discovery and was caught by fishermen in their nets near Astoria, Oregon. The Shanghai tunnels were amazing, and I can't believe that we actually made it into the daylight. It seems like it was, going to be dark for the next few hours here anyway. I was just curious, are there other places in the country like the Shanghai tunnels, Michael?
There are similar places, different histories, but they're not set up like the Portland Underground is.
So tours and stuff, maybe not as common, but people can come here?
Not
Is
as
that
common.
what I understand?
Correct.
I know that I hooked up with a couple people that were having a tour with you today, and luckily I was able to go with you. How would someone book a tour with you?
They can email us at shanghai-tunnels@onemain.com
Okay.
or check out our website, www.members.tripod.com/CGS-Mount Hood.
Okay. Lots of email addresses nowadays, and they all get longer every time. Anyway, this is Jeff Thomas for In Your Prime. I'll see you again next time. Thanks for joining us.
The Portland Underground is constantly in transition as more and more sections are open or restored. That's the reason so many people have taken the tour more than once. We're going to visit the most Irish shop in town next during Senior Scene.